Here's another home improvement tip from Todd and Todd.
How do you know when the windows on your house need replacing? Well, here's a couple helpful hints. First of all, from the outside of the home, you might take a look at the condition of the paint. When your paint starts to peel and flake off like this, usually it's an indication that the wood underneath it is no longer able to hold the paint. Additionally, we're on the southern side of the home, and as one would expect, the sun has baked this wood for so many years that it's beginning to show some pretty large cracks. If the window has that kind of damage on the outside of the home, it's probably beyond repair. Now, at the same time, if we take a look at the inside of the window, there's a couple things I'd like to point out. With casement windows, sometimes it can be frustrating where the crank handles don't work anymore, the hardware's just old and misfit, and it can be very hard to crank those windows open and closed. In addition to that, on the inside here, we also have what was once a beautiful stain on the inside has begun to fade away. Many times that can happen from the exposure from the sun, or it can happen with a lot of condensation and moisture over the years that forms on the glass. It runs down along the wood and can begin to stain that wood. There's one other item I'd like to point out on this particular window, and that is that this was or is a 1/4-inch thermal pane window, and because again on the southern exposure of the house it gets heated up so much during the daytime, the glazing or the sealant that used to go around the window has begun to ooze out from the sides of the glass, and eventually this window is going to have seal failure. So if you recognize any of those interior problems or exterior problems like this on your home, it's certainly time to consider replacing your windows. Todd, what have you found on the other side of the house?
Yeah, Todd, on this side of the house, what we see here is a window that's an older window, and now the glazing compound has dried out after being exposed to the sun for a long period of time. The trim here has also been damaged by the sun and actually has deteriorated to the point where it has to be repainted. The window sashes are cracking and chipping to where the paint has to be, they definitely have to be repainted. And look at the glazing bead here. I can simply, with my fingers, just take this out, and this whole window needs to be reglazed completely. The choice that the homeowner has to make here really is, do I reglaze, repaint? But what he's got is an older style window that's a single pane of glass here, which is extremely inefficient, energy inefficient. So the recommendation that we would provide here is, if you're at that point where you have a lot of maintenance to do and you've got an older style single pane glass, probably better just to go ahead and replace it, because at that point you have no more maintenance, no more glazing, and the trim is done and you don't have to paint the trim. It's really a better option. When you're done, you get a much, much more energy efficient window to boot.
So folks, if you're experiencing problems like these on the windows on your home and you'd like additional information or a free in-home consultation, just fill out the form here. We'd be happy to help you.